Hello everyone, and welcome back to Feel Learns English. My name is Shafi, and I'm very happy to be your host today. If you are new to this channel, welcome. On this channel, we regularly upload English learning videos to help you improve your English step by step and reach your fluency goals faster. Our lessons are designed to be calm, practical, and easy to follow, so you can learn without stress and enjoy the process. In today's masterclass, you will work on much more than just listening. You will improve your listening skills, expand your vocabulary, improve your sentence structure, and practice the kind of advanced English that helps you move closer to the C1 level. This lesson is especially useful if you want to sound more natural, confident, and fluent in everyday situations. Today's lesson focuses on building advanced vocabulary, the kind of vocabulary that native and advanced speakers use naturally in daily life. We will explore useful expressions, strong adjectives, helpful phrases, and natural sentence patterns that advanced speakers use without thinking. These small changes make a big difference in how your English sounds. Whether you are having casual conversations, writing formal messages, speaking at work or school, or explaining complex ideas, advanced vocabulary is the key to speaking with confidence. By the end of this lesson, you will not only understand how advanced vocabulary works, but you will also practice it with me step by step, so it stays in your mind and becomes part of your own speech. Before we begin, please make sure you subscribe to the channel and tap the bell icon. This way, you won't miss any future lessons that can help you improve your English. Now relax, get comfortable, and if you like, take a pen and paper to write down the new words and phrases we practice together. Let's begin our journey towards C1 fluency. When we talk about reaching the C1 level, it's important to understand one thing. It is not about memorizing long or difficult words from a dictionary. Instead, it's about knowing how to use words naturally, correctly, and confidently in real situations. For example, think about the difference between saying, "I am very tired," and saying, "I am completely exhausted." Both sentences have the same meaning, but the second one sounds stronger, more natural, and more advanced. As you listen, I want you to shadow me. This means you repeat after me slowly and clearly. Shadowing helps you learn pronunciation, rhythm, and natural usage. So let's practice together. I am very tired. Now repeat after me. I am completely exhausted. Great. Can you hear and feel the difference? At the C1 level, small changes like this make your English sound richer, clearer, and more precise. Here is another example. Instead of saying, "The movie was very good," you can say, "The movie was absolutely brilliant." Instead of saying, "She is very smart," you can say, "She is remarkably intelligent." These stronger adjectives raise the level of your English. This is not about showing off. It's about expressing your ideas with more accuracy and variety. Now let's practice with a short exercise. Imagine you are talking about a place you visited recently. A basic sentence would be, "The place was very beautiful." At a C1 level, you could say, "The place was breathtakingly beautiful." Repeat after me slowly. The place was breathtakingly beautiful. Excellent. Notice how this sentence creates a stronger picture in the listener's mind. At an advanced level, fluency also means being able to express the same idea in different ways. For example, instead of always saying, "I don't know," you can say, "I'm not entirely sure," or "I can't say with certainty." These alternatives sound more natural, polite, and professional. Let's practice together. Repeat after me, "I'm not entirely sure." Again, "I can't say with certainty." Now imagine someone at work or school asks you a difficult question. Instead of feeling nervous or staying silent, these phrases will help you respond calmly and confidently. Another important part of C1 fluency is using connectors. Connectors help your ideas flow smoothly and clearly. Words like moreover, nevertheless, consequently, and on the other hand make your English sound organized and natural. For example, I was tired. Nevertheless, I finished the project on time. Or, she studied hard. Consequently, she passed with excellent marks. Now repeat after me slowly. I was tired. Nevertheless, I finished the project on time. She studied hard. Consequently, she passed with excellent marks. These are the kinds of sentences that help you sound advanced in both speaking and writing. As we continue, imagine real-life situations where you could use this language. Think about a job interview, a university discussion, or a conversation with friends. Using advanced vocabulary naturally in these moments builds confidence and moves you from intermediate to advanced English. Let's do one final practice. Repeat after me. I wanted to stay at home. On the other hand, my friends convinced me to go out. Good. Now try to create your own sentence in your mind and say it out loud. This is how you improve. Take simple daily situations and slowly raise your language level by using stronger vocabulary and smoother connectors. Remember, learning advanced English is not about rushing. It's about practicing slowly, repeating often, and allowing new words and structures to become part of your natural speech. In this masterclass, we will continue step by step, building vocabulary, improving pronunciation, and helping you speak English with confidence and clarity. And in this lesson, we will always use examples from daily life, examples that you can immediately apply in your own conversations, at work, at school, or with friends. One key difference between C1 level speakers and lower level learners is their ability to choose the right word for the right situation. It's not only about knowing many words. It's about precision. Advanced speakers think carefully about which word best expresses their meaning. For example, instead of saying, he said something, an advanced speaker might say, he remarked, he commented, or he pointed out. Each of these verbs has a slightly different meaning, and that small difference changes the feeling of the sentence. This is what gives your English a more polished and advanced sound. Let's practice together. Please repeat after me slowly. He remarked that the meeting was too long. Now another one. He commented on the design of the presentation. And one more. He pointed out a mistake in the report. Good. Can you feel how each sentence sounds a little different? This is vocabulary in action. It's the skill of choosing the exact word that matches your intention. Another important skill at the C1 level is using idiomatic expressions. Native speakers use idioms naturally, and they make conversations sound more lively and natural. For example, instead of saying, I'm very nervous, you can say, I have butterflies in my stomach. Instead of saying, it was easy, you can say, it was a piece of cake. And instead of saying, stop wasting time, you can say, stop beating around the bush. Let's practice these together. Repeat after me. I have butterflies in my stomach. It was a piece of cake. Stop beating around the bush. Excellent. These are expressions you can start using today. Imagine telling a friend before an exam, I have butterflies in my stomach. That one sentence instantly makes your English sound more natural and advanced. Now let's look at advanced ways to agree and disagree. At lower levels, learners often say only, I agree or I don't agree. At C1, you have many more options. Instead of I agree, you can say, I couldn't agree more. That's absolutely true. I see your point, and I share the same opinion. Instead of I don't agree, you can say, I'm afraid I can't share that view. That's not quite how I see it. Or, I beg to differ. Let's practice. Repeat after me. I couldn't agree more. That's absolutely true. I beg to differ. That's not quite how I see it. Great. Imagine you are in a classroom discussion or a meeting at work. These expressions help you respond politely and confidently without sounding rude or too simple. Fluency also depends on how well you tell stories. At an advanced level, you're expected to add details, use descriptive language, and make your story interesting for the listener. Let's look at a simple sentence. I went to the park yesterday. At a C1 level, you might say, yesterday, I spent a quiet afternoon at the park, soaking in the fresh air and observing families enjoying the sunshine. Do you notice the difference? The second sentence paints a picture. It helps the listener imagine the scene. Let's practice together. Repeat after me slowly. Yesterday, I spent a quiet afternoon at the park, soaking in the fresh air and observing families enjoying the sunshine. Excellent. Now think about a simple daily activity, like cooking dinner, commuting to work, or shopping. Try to add extra details, feelings, or descriptions. This is how you move from B2 to C1 by making your language more vivid and expressive. Another important skill is using transitions. Advanced speakers use transitions to guide the listener and organize their ideas clearly. Common transitions include to begin with, in addition, as a result, in contrast, on the whole. Let's repeat them together. To begin with, in addition, as a result, on the whole. Very good. Next time you talk about your day or share an opinion, try to use one or two of these transitions. Let's do a short practice exercise. Imagine you are describing your morning routine. A basic version might be, I woke up. I ate breakfast. I went to work. An advanced version could be, to begin with, I woke up early to prepare for the day. In addition, I had a healthy breakfast, which gave me energy. As a result, I felt productive and ready to face my tasks at work. Repeat this slowly and notice how the transitions make the story flow smoothly. At the C1 level, vocabulary also helps you express opinions and emotions with subtlety. Instead of just saying, I like it, you can say, I find it fascinating. I really appreciate it. I'm genuinely impressed. Instead of saying, I don't like it, you can say, it doesn't really appeal to me. I'm not particularly fond of it. Let's practice. Repeat after me. I find it fascinating. I really appreciate it. It doesn't really appeal to me. I'm not particularly fond of it. Excellent. These expressions make you sound polite, natural, and confident in everyday conversations. Remember this. Practice is everything. To truly remember advanced vocabulary, you must use it. So here's your challenge for today. When you speak to someone, try replacing just one simple word with a more advanced alternative from this lesson. Instead of very good, say outstanding. Instead of I don't know, say I can't say with certainty. Each small change helps you build your C1 English step by step, sentence by sentence. Another very important part of advanced English is how you show emphasis. At the C1 level, you don't need to depend on words like very or really all the time. Instead, advanced speakers choose stronger and more precise words that express meaning clearly and naturally. For example, instead of saying very hungry, you can say starving. Instead of really cold, you can say freezing. Instead of very big, you can say enormous or gigantic. These words are more powerful and they instantly raise the level of your English. Let's practice together. Please repeat after me slowly. I'm starving. It's freezing outside. The house was enormous. Perfect. Now think about a sentence you often use, such as I'm very happy. At the C1 level, you could say, I'm delighted, I'm overjoyed, or I'm thrilled. Each of these words shows a slightly different emotion. This helps you express yourself more clearly and naturally. Let's try a small daily life exercise. Imagine you are telling a friend about your weekend. Instead of saying, the concert was very good, try saying, the concert was phenomenal. Instead of saying, the restaurant was very bad, try saying, the restaurant was dreadful. When you practice like this, your brain slowly learns to choose strong vocabulary automatically instead of simple words. This is another important step toward advanced fluency. Another key skill at the C1 level is mastering collocations. Collocations are words that naturally go together in English. Native speakers use them all the time. For example, we say make a decision, not do a decision. We say strong coffee, not powerful coffee. And we say heavy rain, not big rain. These natural word combinations are what make your English sound fluent and native-like. Let's practice some common collocations together. Repeat after me. Make progress. Catch a bus. Break the news. Keep a promise. Pay attention. Run a business. Excellent. Notice how natural these phrases feel. At the C1 level, learning collocations is often more useful than memorizing single words because they show you how English really works in daily life. Now, let's use these collocations in a short story. Listen carefully, then repeat after me slowly. Yesterday, I made a decision to run a small business online. In the morning, I caught a bus into town to buy supplies. On the way, my friend called me to break the news that she was moving abroad. I promised to keep in touch and paid attention to every word she said. By the end of the day, I felt that I had made real progress. Excellent. This is a natural, real-life story using collocations that you can easily adapt for your own conversations. At the C1 level, you also need to master hedging language. Hedging means softening what you say so you sound polite, careful, and professional. For example, instead of saying, "This is wrong," you can say, "I'm not sure that's entirely correct." Instead of saying, "You are late," you can say, "It seems you've arrived a bit later than expected." This type of language is very common in workplaces, academic settings, and even friendly conversations. It helps you sound respectful and balanced. Let's practice some hedging phrases together. Repeat after me. I'm not entirely sure. It seems that. It appears to be. From my perspective. As far as I can tell. These phrases help you share opinions without sounding too direct or too strong, which is extremely useful in professional or international environments. Another powerful tool for advanced speakers is using modal verbs to express certainty, possibility, and impossibility. For example, he must be tired means you are almost certain. He might be tired means it is possible. He can't be tired means you believe it is impossible. These small changes make your English more flexible and precise. Let's practice with daily life examples. Repeat after me. She must be at work. The lights are on. He might be busy. He hasn't answered his phone. That can't be true. I saw it with my own eyes. Perfect. This kind of practice trains you to express different levels of certainty clearly, a key C1 skill. Now let's talk about discourse markers. These are phrases that help organize your ideas and make your speech sound natural and smooth. Common discourse markers include, frankly speaking, between you and me, if I'm honest, to be fair, in my opinion. Let's practice some of them together. Repeat after me. Frankly speaking, I don't think that's the best idea. Between you and me, I was a little nervous before the meeting. To be fair, the movie wasn't as bad as people said. Excellent. These small phrases add personality, clarity, and flow to your English. They are a strong sign of advanced fluency. Now let's bring everything together with a longer practice example. Imagine you are describing a challenge you faced recently. Repeat after me slowly. Frankly speaking, last week was exhausting. I was absolutely overwhelmed with work. Nevertheless, I managed to make progress and complete my tasks on time. It seems that my colleagues appreciated my efforts, and I couldn't agree more that teamwork made the difference. On the whole, it was a challenging week, but I feel delighted with what we achieved. Wonderful. Notice how this short story combines strong vocabulary, connectors, collocations, hedging language, and discourse markers. This is exactly how C1 English sounds. For example, imagine someone asks you, Do you understand? At a basic level, you might simply reply, yes, I understand. However, at the C1 level, you have more flexible and natural options. You could say, yes, I follow your point. Yes, I get what you mean. Yes, that makes sense to me. All of these responses show understanding, but each one has a slightly different tone. Some sound more formal, some more casual, and some neutral. This ability to choose the right response for the situation makes your English sound alive, natural, and adaptable. Let's practice together. Repeat after me slowly. I follow your point. I get what you mean. That makes sense to me. Good. Now imagine a friend is explaining a new app or a new idea to you. Instead of repeating, I understand, try one of these alternatives. This kind of flexibility is a clear sign of an advanced speaker. Another important part of C1 fluency is expressing opinions in a sophisticated way. At lower levels, learners often repeat, I think, again and again. At C1, you can vary your language with phrases such as, in my view, from my perspective, as far as I'm concerned, if you ask me, the way I see it. These expressions make your English richer and help you avoid repetition. Let's practice together. Repeat after me. In my view, this approach is more effective. From my perspective, we should try something different. As far as I'm concerned, learning English daily is the best strategy. If you ask me, the book was better than the movie. The way I see it, practice leads to progress. Excellent. You now have several natural ways to express opinions without always relying on I think. Now let's focus on advanced time expressions, which many learners find challenging. Instead of only using yesterday or last week, advanced speakers often say, the other day, in the meantime, at the end of the day, in the long run. These expressions are very common in natural English and give your speech a smoother rhythm. Let's practice. Repeat after me. I met her the other day. In the meantime, I'll keep working on this project. At the end of the day, we all want to be happy. In the long run, practice always pays off. Perfect. Try to use at least one of these expressions the next time you talk about your daily life. At the C1 level, fluency also depends on knowing the difference between formal and informal language. In a casual conversation, you might say, can you help me out? In a professional situation, you would say, would you be able to assist me with this? Both sentences mean the same thing, but the second one is more formal and polite. Being able to switch between these styles shows strong control of English. Let's practice together. Repeat after me. Can you help me out? Now repeat. Would you be able to assist me with this? Great. Now imagine two situations, one with a close friend and one with your boss. Which sentence would you choose in each case? This awareness of context is what makes your English sound appropriate and advanced. Another crucial C1 skill is having a strong range of phrasal verbs and their formal equivalents. For example, put off, postpone, come up with, devise, give up, surrender, find out, discover. Phrasal verbs are common in everyday speech, while single-word verbs are often used in academic or professional English. A C1 speaker can move comfortably between both. Let's practice. Repeat after me. We had to put off the meeting. We had to postpone the meeting. She came up with a new idea. She devised a new idea. He gave up the fight. He surrendered the fight. Did you find out the answer? Did you discover the answer? Wonderful. Notice how both versions are correct, but they fit different situations. That flexibility is exactly what you want. Now let's practice advanced storytelling with connectors. At a basic level, you might say, I went to Paris. I saw the Eiffel Tower. I took photos. I ate food. At a C1 level, you could say, last summer, I had the opportunity to visit Paris, and needless to say, it was unforgettable. Not only did I see the Eiffel Tower, but I also explored hidden streets and charming cafes. Moreover, I captured dozens of photographs to keep as memories. And to top it all off, the food was absolutely exquisite. Can you hear the difference? The second version flows smoothly, keeps the listener engaged, and paints a clear picture. Let's practice together. Repeat after me slowly. Last summer, I had the opportunity to visit Paris, and needless to say, it was unforgettable. Not only did I see the Eiffel Tower, but I also explored hidden streets and charming cafes. Moreover, I captured dozens of photographs to keep as memories. And to top it all off, the food was absolutely exquisite. Excellent. That's advanced storytelling. Now let's move to another key area of C1 English, expressing cause and effect. Instead of always using because, you can say due to, owing to, as a result of, thanks to. Instead of only using so, you can say therefore, thus, consequently, hence. These connectors make your English sound more professional and polished. Let's practice together. Repeat after me. Due to the heavy rain, the match was cancelled. Owing to his dedication, he succeeded in his exams. As a result of the delay, the meeting was postponed. Thanks to her support, I felt more confident. The team worked hard, therefore, they achieved success. The evidence was clear, thus, the case was closed. She didn't study, consequently, she failed. He was the eldest, hence, he took responsibility. Very good. These expressions are especially useful in academic writing, formal discussions, and debates. Let's bring everything together in one advanced practice sentence that you can shadow. Repeat after me slowly. In the long run, learning English every day will bring you closer to fluency. And remember, every small improvement you make today builds stronger, more confident English for the future. Owing to consistent practice, your confidence will gradually and steadily grow. Moreover, as a result of using advanced vocabulary in real situations, you will begin to sound more natural, accurate, and precise. At the end of the day, language is about connection. And needless to say, the more variety you have in your language, the more deeply you can connect with other people. Therefore, never stop challenging yourself, because every new word you learn becomes another step toward true mastery. Excellent. That is advanced fluency in action. At the advanced level, it is also important to practice how to express contrast clearly. Native speakers do this naturally, and it makes conversations more dynamic and interesting. Instead of using only the word but, you can use expressions such as however, nevertheless, nonetheless, even so, or having said that. Each of these adds depth and sophistication to your English. Let's practice together. Repeat after me slowly. I was tired. However, I kept working until midnight. It was raining. Nevertheless, we went for a walk. She was nervous. Nonetheless, she delivered a great presentation. The plan was risky. Even so, they decided to try it. I usually prefer tea. Having said that, I don't mind a cup of coffee sometimes. Excellent. These expressions are useful not only in writing, but also in everyday speaking. Using them correctly shows that you can handle subtle meaning and contrast with confidence. Another area where C1 learners truly stand out is in expressing probability and possibility with nuance. Instead of always saying maybe, advanced speakers say it's likely, it's probable, there's a good chance, it's doubtful, or it's highly unlikely. These expressions allow you to show different levels of certainty, which is very important in academic, professional, and daily conversations. Let's practice together. Repeat after me. It's likely that he'll arrive late. There's a good chance she'll win the competition. It's doubtful that they'll finish on time. It's highly unlikely that the store will be open now. Very good. Now imagine you are talking about tomorrow's weather. Instead of saying, maybe it will rain, you can say, it's likely to rain tomorrow. This small change immediately makes your English sound more advanced. Now let's explore advanced ways of expressing cause and purpose. Instead of always using so that, you can say in order to, with the aim of, for the purpose of, or so as to. These structures help you create longer, clearer, and more natural sentences. Repeat after me slowly. I studied hard in order to pass the exam. She joined the club with the aim of meeting new people. They organized the event for the purpose of raising funds. He spoke slowly so as to be understood clearly. Excellent. These expressions give you more flexibility when explaining reasons and intentions. Another powerful step toward advanced fluency is learning synonyms with slightly different tones. Take the word important. Instead of repeating it, you can use crucial, essential, vital, significant, or fundamental. Let's look at examples. It is crucial to arrive on time. Exercise is essential for good health. Water is vital for survival. Education plays a significant role in society. Honesty is a fundamental value. Now repeat after me slowly. Excellent. With these words, you can avoid repetition and sound more precise and advanced. At the C1 level, your ability to describe emotions and feelings also becomes very important. Instead of simply saying, I'm happy, you can say, I'm content, I'm pleased, I'm cheerful, I'm delighted, or I'm thrilled. Instead of saying, I'm sad, you might say, I'm upset, I'm downhearted, I'm sorrowful, or I'm devastated. These words add emotional depth to your English. Let's practice together. Repeat after me. I'm content with my progress. I'm cheerful today. I'm delighted to see you again. I'm thrilled about the news. I'm upset about the result. I'm devastated after hearing what happened. Great. Now think about your own life and choose one advanced emotional word to describe how you feel today. Personalizing vocabulary helps it stay in your memory. Let's now practice advanced storytelling with comparisons and contrasts. At a basic level, you might say, my town is big. At a C1 level, you could say, compared to nearby towns, my city is significantly larger and more vibrant, although it can sometimes feel overcrowded. Notice how this sentence compares, contrasts, and adds detail. Repeat after me slowly. Compared to nearby towns, my city is significantly larger and more vibrant, although it can sometimes feel overcrowded. Excellent. Now take a simple sentence from your own life and expand it using comparison or contrast. This is how you build advanced fluency step by step. Another key skill at C1 is expressing degrees of agreement or disagreement. Instead of only saying, I agree or I don't agree, you can say, I agree to a certain extent. I agree up to a point. I generally agree. I strongly disagree. I absolutely support that idea. These expressions show that you can think critically and handle complex discussions. Let's practice together. Repeat after me. I agree to a certain extent. I generally agree. I strongly disagree. I absolutely support that idea. Excellent. Imagine using these expressions in a classroom discussion or a work meeting. They will make your English sound confident, thoughtful, and advanced. Compared to beginners, advanced English learners can express small emotional differences, complex ideas, and detailed stories with ease. They do not only say what they feel, but they explain how and why they feel that way. However, this ability does not appear suddenly. It does not happen in one day or 1 week. Instead, it develops slowly through constant practice, daily repetition, and patient effort. In my opinion, the best way to reach this advanced level is to use new words every day. When you use a word again and again in speaking and writing, it slowly becomes part of your natural speech. Over time, you stop thinking about the word, and it starts to come out automatically. That is how real fluency is built. At the end of the day, fluency is not only about being correct. It is also about being flexible, confident, and comfortable while expressing your ideas. This is exactly how your English becomes stronger day by day. At the C1 level, one major change you will notice is your ability to sound persuasive. Persuasive language is useful not only in debates or formal discussions, but also in everyday life. You use it when you want to convince someone, make a suggestion, or clearly explain your opinion. Instead of saying, "I think this is good," you can say, "There are several reasons why this approach is effective," or "The evidence strongly suggests that this method works better." These expressions show confidence, clear thinking, and structure. Let's practice some persuasive phrases together. Repeat after me slowly. There are several reasons why this approach is effective. The evidence strongly suggests that this method works better. It's clear that the benefits outweigh the disadvantages. I firmly believe that consistent practice leads to fluency. Excellent. Imagine yourself speaking in a meeting or having a relaxed discussion with friends. Using these phrases helps your ideas sound strong without sounding aggressive. Another clear sign of advanced fluency is the ability to speculate about the past, present, or future. Instead of making only direct statements, you can use advanced modal forms like might have, could have, should have, or would have. For example, you can say, "He might have forgotten to call," or "They could have arrived earlier." These forms allow you to talk about possibilities, regrets, and imagined situations, which is a key feature of advanced communication. Let's practice together. Repeat after me. He might have forgotten to call. They could have arrived earlier. I should have prepared better. She would have helped if she had known. Very good. Now think about one situation from your own past and describe it using one of these structures. This reflection helps grammar become natural instead of forced. Another powerful advanced skill is paraphrasing. This means explaining the same idea in different ways. At the C1 level, you can do this smoothly without repeating yourself. For example, instead of saying, "It's very important to practice," you can say, "Practice plays a vital role," or "Regular practice is essential," or "Consistent practice is the key to progress." The meaning stays the same, but the language becomes richer. Let's shadow these sentences together. Practice plays a vital role. Regular practice is essential. Consistent practice is the key to progress. Excellent. This flexibility is one of the strongest signs that you are reaching advanced fluency. Now, let's look at inversion, which is a way to change word order for emphasis. This structure is very common in advanced English and sounds natural when used correctly. For example, instead of saying, "I have never seen such a beautiful sunset," you can say, "Never have I seen such a beautiful sunset." This makes your speech sound more dramatic and polished. Repeat after me. Never have I seen such a beautiful sunset. Rarely do we get the chance to experience something like that. Only after studying every day did I feel more confident. Great job. These structures give your English a confident, native-like style. At the C1 level, you also need to master advanced conditionals. Instead of using only simple sentences like, "If it rains, I'll stay home," you can use mixed conditionals to talk about imagined past situations and their results. For example, "If I had studied harder, I would be more confident now," or "If she had left earlier, she might have caught the train." Repeat after me slowly. If I had studied harder, I would be more confident now. If she had left earlier, she might have caught the train. Excellent. Think about a missed opportunity in your life and describe it using this structure. This kind of practice makes complex grammar feel natural. Another advanced technique is using cleft sentences to add emphasis. Instead of saying, "I liked the movie," you can say, "What I really liked was the movie." These sentences help you focus attention on the most important part of your message. Let's practice together. What I really liked was the movie. It was she who helped me the most. What I need right now is a break. It was the teacher who encouraged me to continue. Excellent. Notice how these sentences clearly highlight important information. What I slowly realized is that consistent daily practice truly makes a difference. Even small efforts, when repeated every day, can lead to big changes over time. If I had given up earlier, I would not be able to speak English fluently today. That thought reminds me why persistence is so important. There are several clear reasons why regular practice works so well. First, it builds confidence. When you practice often, you stop being afraid of making mistakes. Second, it improves accuracy. You begin to notice your errors and correct them naturally. Finally, it creates strong habits. Practice becomes part of your routine, not something you force yourself to do. Only after months of daily training did I truly understand how powerful these small steps were. Each day felt ordinary, but together they created real progress. At the end of the day, fluency is not about natural talent. It is about showing up every day and not giving up. This kind of personal storytelling clearly shows C1 level mastery. At the C1 level, one of the strongest features of your English is your ability to add nuance when you agree or disagree with someone. Instead of giving simple answers like, I agree or I disagree, you can express different levels of agreement. For example, you might say, I agree with you to a large extent, or I agree with you in principle, but, or I can see where you're coming from. However, I see it differently. These expressions allow you to take part in discussions with more depth and flexibility, especially in academic or professional situations. They also make you sound thoughtful and respectful rather than direct or abrupt. Let's practice these ideas. Repeat slowly. I agree with you to a large extent. I agree with you in principle, but I can see where you're coming from. However, I see it differently. Excellent. Notice how these phrases help you explain your opinion clearly without sounding rude or overly simple. Another area where C1 learners really stand out is in discussing abstract topics. At this level, you don't only talk about daily activities. You can also discuss ideas like success, happiness, freedom, technology, or education in a deeper way. For example, instead of saying, success is important, you could say, success is often measured in terms of money and status, but in my opinion, true success lies in personal growth and happiness. This longer explanation shows your ability to expand, support, and clarify your ideas, which is a key skill at the advanced level. Let's shadow this sentence together. Repeat after me. Success is often measured in terms of money and status, but in my opinion, true success lies in personal growth and happiness. Very good. Now think about another big topic, such as education or technology, and try to explain your opinion using 2 or 3 sentences. This is exactly how you move from B2 to C1. Advanced English also requires precision. This means choosing words that express meaning more clearly. Instead of saying, he spoke loudly, you can say, he spoke assertively. Instead of, she answered quickly, you can say, she answered promptly. Instead of, they worked hard, you can say, they worked diligently. Each of these words gives a clearer picture and adds professionalism to your speech. Let's practice together. He spoke assertively. She answered promptly. They worked diligently. Excellent. These words sound more exact and controlled than simple alternatives. At the C1 level, you also need to express contrast and balance naturally. For example, you might say, on the one hand, learning vocabulary is time-consuming. On the other hand, it is essential for fluency. Or, while technology connects us, it can also isolate us. These structures allow you to show both sides of an issue, which is an important advanced communication skill. Repeat after me. On the one hand, learning vocabulary is time-consuming. On the other hand, it is essential for fluency. While technology connects us, it can also isolate us. Great. The next time you speak about a topic, try to include balance like this. It will immediately make your English sound more thoughtful and advanced. Another key C1 skill is using polite, softening language. Instead of saying, "You are wrong," you can say, "I'm not entirely convinced by that argument." Instead of saying, "You need to do this," you can say, "You might want to consider doing this." These small changes make your communication smoother and more respectful. Let's practice. I'm not entirely convinced by that argument. You might want to consider doing this. It seems to me that there could be another way. Perfect. Try using these phrases when giving advice or sharing a different opinion. Now let's move to advanced storytelling. Imagine you are describing a challenge you faced. At a basic level, you might say, "I had a problem at work. I solved it." But at the C1 level, you can tell the story with detail, emotion, and structure. For example, not long ago, I faced a significant challenge at work when our project was delayed. At first, I felt frustrated and uncertain. However, I reminded myself that setbacks are part of the learning process. As a result, I reorganized my schedule, delegated tasks more effectively, and stayed focused. In the end, the project was completed successfully. This experience taught me resilience and time management, skills I now value greatly. Let's shadow this story slowly. Repeat after me. This is exactly the kind of storytelling you should practice regularly if you want to speak confidently at the C1 level. Repeat after me slowly. In today's world, it is clear that learning English is an extremely important skill. Almost everywhere we go, English plays a role in education, work, and communication. While learning English can sometimes feel difficult or overwhelming, the long-term benefits are truly worth the effort. On the one hand, learning English requires daily practice, patience, and consistency. You need to spend time listening, speaking, reading, and repeating. On the other hand, English opens doors to better education, stronger career opportunities, and meaningful international friendships. From my perspective, learning English is not only about grammar rules or memorizing vocabulary. It is about gaining the confidence to express who you really are and to share your ideas clearly with others. At the end of the day, fluency is not about being perfect. It is about communication, connection, and personal growth. Excellent. That is exactly how advanced fluency feels: rich, expressive, and human. At the C1 level, one of the most noticeable skills is the ability to explain cause and effect with more detail and subtlety. Instead of always using the word because, you can expand your language and use phrases like "given that," owing to the fact that, in light of, or considering that. For example, instead of saying, "The meeting was canceled because of the weather," you can say, "The meeting was canceled owing to the fact that the storm made travel impossible." Or you might say, "In light of the new regulations, the company had to change its strategy." These expressions make your speech sound longer, more professional, and more confident. Let's practice together. Repeat after me slowly. The meeting was canceled owing to the fact that the storm made travel impossible. In light of the new regulations, the company had to change its strategy. Considering that she was ill, it was understandable that she stayed home. Excellent. Using these structures gives you the flexibility to write essays, join debates, and speak confidently in formal situations. Another important C1 skill is using emphasis to highlight contrast or importance. Instead of simply saying "it's important," you can use advanced structures like "what is essential is," "the key point is," or "the most striking thing is." These sentences guide the listener's attention to what really matters. Repeat after me. What is essential is that we practice every day. The key point is that fluency takes time. The most striking thing is how quickly your English improves with consistent practice. Perfect. Notice how these structures give weight to your ideas and make you sound more thoughtful and persuasive. At the advanced level, strong communication also depends on linking ideas smoothly. instead of only using and or, but you can say in addition to that, what's more, on top of that, over and above that, or furthermore. Imagine describing a trip. A basic version might be, I went to Rome. I saw the Colosseum. I ate pizza. At the C1 level, you could say, I went to Rome, and in addition to that, I had the chance to see the Colosseum, which was breathtaking. What's more, the pizza I ate there was some of the best I've ever tasted. Furthermore, I met new friends who made the trip unforgettable. Let's practice. Repeat after me slowly. In addition to that, I had the chance to see the Colosseum. What's more, the pizza I ate there was some of the best I've ever tasted. Furthermore, I met new friends who made the trip unforgettable. Excellent. These transitions help your story flow naturally and sound more engaging. Another hallmark of advanced fluency is the ability to make concessions. This means recognizing another opinion while still expressing your own. Instead of simply saying, I disagree, you can say, while I see your point, I still believe that, or although that's true to some extent, I would argue that. These phrases make you sound diplomatic, respectful, and confident. Let's practice together. Repeat after me. While I see your point, I still believe that practice is essential. Although that's true to some extent, I would argue that vocabulary must also be a priority. Great. These expressions are very effective in exams, discussions, and professional environments. At this level, descriptive precision becomes very important. Instead of saying someone is nice, you can say they are considerate, compassionate, approachable, or charismatic. Instead of saying someone is smart, you can say they are insightful, innovative, or perceptive. Repeat after me. He's considerate. He's compassionate. She's perceptive. She's innovative. Very good. Think of a friend, teacher, or colleague and describe them using one advanced adjective. This personal connection helps vocabulary stay in your memory. Advanced English also uses powerful adverbs to add emotion and detail. Instead of saying, she answered quickly, you can say, she answered promptly. Instead of, he worked hard, you can say, he worked tirelessly. Instead of, they reacted slowly, you can say, they reacted reluctantly. These adverbs show not only action, but also attitude and feeling. Practice with me. She answered promptly. He worked tirelessly. They reacted reluctantly. Excellent. These small details make your speech vivid and expressive. Now let's combine everything into a longer storytelling practice. Repeat after me slowly. Although I was reluctant to join the meeting at first, I eventually agreed, considering that my team needed my support. What was essential was not just my presence, but my active contribution. In light of the tight deadlines, we worked tirelessly to complete the project on time. Furthermore, each team member showed remarkable dedication. On top of that, our manager was considerate and encouraged us throughout the process. At the end of the day, although the task was exhausting, the results were truly rewarding. Excellent. This is how your storytelling becomes richer and more advanced with every practice. At the C1 level, precision, balance, and confidence are what truly make your English stand out. Instead of always saying, I like it, you can express your feelings in a more natural and advanced way. For example, you might say, I genuinely admire it, which shows strong respect and appreciation. You could also say, I deeply appreciate it, when something has real value for you. Another option is, I'm particularly fond of it, which sounds warm and personal. In the same way, instead of saying, I don't like it, you can soften or refine your opinion. You might say, I find it unappealing, which sounds calm and polite. You could also say, it doesn't resonate with me, meaning it doesn't connect with your feelings. Or you can say, I'm not especially enthusiastic about it, which sounds thoughtful and balanced. These expressions add subtle meaning and prevent your English from sounding repetitive or too basic. Let's practice together. Repeat after me slowly. I genuinely admire it. I deeply appreciate it. I'm particularly fond of it. I find it unappealing. It doesn't resonate with me. I'm not especially enthusiastic about it. Excellent. Now think about a movie, a song, or a book you experienced recently. Try to describe your feelings using one of these expressions instead of simply saying I liked it or I didn't like it. Another strong sign of C1 fluency is the ability to express uncertainty with nuance. Instead of just saying, I don't know, you can say, I'm not entirely certain, which sounds polite and professional. You could also say, it remains unclear when information is missing. If you are unsure at the moment, you might say, the answer escapes me for now. Or you can say, I can't say with confidence. These phrases help you participate in conversations without sounding abrupt or unsure of yourself. Let's practice. Repeat after me. I'm not entirely certain. It remains unclear. The answer escapes me for now. I can't say with confidence. Perfect. Imagine being in a classroom, meeting, or discussion. These expressions allow you to speak carefully and confidently. At this level, it's also important to master advanced cause-and-effect language. Instead of always using so, you can say as a result, as a consequence, thereby, or accordingly. For example, she studied hard, thereby improving her chances of success. The company invested in training, and accordingly, employee performance increased. As a result of the changes, customers felt more satisfied. Repeat after me. She studied hard, thereby improving her chances of success. The company invested in training, and accordingly, employee performance increased. As a result of the changes, customers felt more satisfied. Excellent. These expressions immediately make your English sound more polished and professional. Another advanced skill is evaluating ideas with balanced language. Instead of saying, that's good, you can say, that's a valid point, or that's a reasonable observation. You might also say, that's a well-founded argument. Instead of saying, that's bad, you could say, that's questionable, that's debatable, or that's not entirely convincing. These phrases show critical thinking, which is essential at the C1 level. Let's practice together. Repeat after me. That's a valid point. That's a reasonable observation. That's a well-founded argument. That's questionable. That's debatable. That's not entirely convincing. Great. These expressions are very useful in debates, meetings, and academic discussions. Now let's move on to advanced storytelling techniques. Instead of always using then or after that, you can say subsequently, eventually, in the aftermath, or ultimately. For example, the team worked day and night. Subsequently, they completed the project ahead of schedule. He faced many obstacles, but ultimately, he achieved his goal. Let's practice. Repeat after me. Subsequently, they completed the project ahead of schedule. In the aftermath of the crisis, people supported each other. Eventually, everything worked out. Ultimately, he achieved his goal. Excellent. These words help your stories sound structured and mature. At C1 level, you also need to express contrast clearly and smoothly. You can use structures like although, even though, despite, and in spite of. For example, although it was difficult, we managed to succeed. Even though I was tired, I kept going. Despite the challenges, we completed the work. In spite of his lack of experience, he performed well. Let's practice. Repeat after me. Although it was difficult, we managed to succeed. Even though I was tired, I kept going. Despite the challenges, we completed the work. In spite of his lack of experience, he performed well. Wonderful. These structures are very common in advanced speaking and writing. Now, let's combine everything into one long practice story. Repeat after me slowly. Although the situation was uncertain, the team worked diligently to find solutions. In the aftermath of the first setback, they reorganized their approach. Subsequently, new strategies were applied, and as a result, performance improved significantly. While it remained unclear at first whether the project would succeed, it ultimately exceeded expectations. What impressed me most was not just the outcome, but the resilience everyone showed throughout the process. At the end of the day, it was a powerful reminder that persistence, even in the face of challenges, leads to meaningful progress. Excellent glowing star. This is exactly how advanced C1 English sounds: clear, thoughtful, confident, and natural. Excellent. This is how you bring advanced connectors, vocabulary, and nuance together in one fluent passage. At the C1 level, fluency is also about handling speculation about the future naturally. Instead of just saying maybe it will happen, you can say, it's quite possible that it will happen. There's every likelihood that it will take place. It seems probable that it will occur. These expressions are common in news reports, professional discussions, and academic writing. Practice with me. Repeat slowly. It's quite possible that it will happen. There's every likelihood that it will take place. It seems probable that it will occur. Excellent. Notice how these expressions sound polished, confident, and professional, exactly what you need at the advanced level. Another skill that makes you stand out is the ability to describe trends and changes. Instead of saying it is getting better or it is getting worse, you can say, it is on the rise. It is in decline. It has been steadily improving. It has been gradually deteriorating. These expressions allow you to discuss social issues, technology, health, or any broad topic with depth and clarity. Practice with me. Repeat slowly. The use of renewable energy is on the rise. Traditional bookstores are in decline. My English has been steadily improving since I started daily practice. The situation has been gradually deteriorating over the past few months. Excellent. These phrases bring richness and precision to your discussions and writing. Next, let's strengthen your ability to express conditions and results in more sophisticated ways. Instead of always using if, you can use provided that, as long as, on condition that, supposing that. For example, you can succeed provided that you work consistently. I'll join you on condition that we finish early. Supposing that it rains tomorrow, what will we do? Practice with me. Repeat slowly. You can succeed provided that you work consistently. I'll join you on condition that we finish early. Supposing that it rains tomorrow, what will we do? Very good. These small shifts elevate your English from simple to advanced. Finally, let's practice a full storytelling passage that combines advanced connectors, conditionals, and subtle expressions. Repeat after me slowly. Supposing that we never practice daily, our progress would be slow and frustrating. On the other hand, provided that we commit to even a small amount of English every day, the results can be astonishing. My own experience has shown that vocabulary builds steadily and grammar becomes clearer with constant use. In light of this, I firmly believe that fluency is within everyone's reach as long as persistence becomes a habit. Excellent. That is advanced fluency in action. Before we finish, let me remind you of something important. Fluency at C1 is not built in a day. It is built step by step, word by word, and sentence by sentence. Every time you practice, repeat, or challenge yourself to replace a simple phrase with a more advanced one, you move closer to your goal. You already have the ability. What you need now is consistency and confidence. Thank you so much for staying with me through this masterclass. I hope you practiced along, repeated the examples, and felt your English stretch into new areas of fluency. If you enjoyed this lesson and want more, make sure to subscribe and tap the bell icon so you never miss new videos that will help you grow your English step by step. Your support means a lot. Together, we'll keep building your confidence until advanced English feels natural. So keep practicing, keep believing in yourself, and remember, every single word you learn brings you one step closer to mastery. Take care, stay motivated, and I'll see you in the next lesson.